I wanted to tell you a little bit about the origins of Do Nothing Farm and why it is so important for everyone to get this. So, Do Nothing Farm comes from Masanobu Fukuoka, who is kind of the father or grandfather of natural farming. And his philosophy basically is that humans oftentimes will take futile action. Almost all action that we take is futile. And what he means by this is nature is already in balance. Nature knows what to do, and humans meddling it just makes it worse. So as an example, we try and we talk about saving the planet, right? And we want to stop global warming by making more solar panels. Well, those solar panel materials have to come from somewhere, and so we might have a process that is very extractive and environmentally detrimental in solar panels. And over here in Japan, they've been raising mountaintops and putting solar farms on them. And guess what? Now there's landslides that are happening because the water systems in those mountains are being disrupted. And this is all in the name of saving the planet, right? So if we go into it with that mindset of we have to do something, then we end up causing more problems, right? I mean, with a bunch of solar panels, it might be better than oil. I'm not saying that it's not necessarily, but if you think about the solar panels and this extra supply that we're making, it's all going to data centers, or a large majority. I mean, my cousin works in that space, and he told me that he built his first main project that he built was a mega solar plant specifically for Facebook, for Meta, to power their data center. And that's how quickly do we get disillusioned with the system, then going and trying to save the planet, and then you're connected with not saving it at all. Anyway, so this is all human meddling, and how futile this is. So do nothing. What does that mean? Well, it means basically getting out of nature's way. And an example that I can do to show you to illustrate this is in COVID times. And David Attenborough has a documentary on this. You should check it out. Basically, during COVID, everyone was stuck at home doing nothing. And what happened to nature? It rebounded. I mean, I'm from Hawaii, and in Hawaii, I think there was some study that the coral reefs had bounced back and the visibility in the water was up like 50% in some places. There was loggerhead turtles, I think, in Florida returned for the first time in a while. There's a lot of, data that shows that just a few months or a year, nature started to rebound. That is how powerful this planet is. That's how powerful nature is if we just get out of its way. And so the best thing that we can do sometimes is to do nothing. And I know that a lot of you watching this feel the same way that I do. I have this voice in my head that's always pushing me to do something productive, right? And it's always pushing me, oh, you haven't made enough money. Why don't you do this? You should be making more money. It's usually a should. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. You shouldn't be wasting your time. You shouldn't be scrolling. You shouldn't, whatever it might be. It's like pushing me to move forward, to be productive, to be more efficient with my time, to use my time and make it valuable. Make sure that this video that you watch is going to be good. So you end up scrolling through and trying to pick the perfect video. Anyway, this is all connected to this performance voice that's trying to do something. And it's a great voice to have. I mean, I'm happy that I have this voice, because then it pushes me to make videos for you and to go out in my farm and plant things. And if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't survive. We need it. But at the same time, I think a lot of us, and I especially felt this in my corporate job, but I'm still dealing with it, now in a reduced sense, but this is not what should be ruling our lives. We don't have to let that voice rule our lives, even as a high contributor or a high achiever. There's other fuels, right, that are out there, and there's other voices that tell us some good advice too. So the other part of us might say, do nothing. It might be our body that's telling us slow down, or, pause. Or even if we don't even hear that voice because we're so loud on this side, we know that nature needs rest, right? You can't just keep sowing the same crops in the same area, because unless you put a bunch of chemicals in, unless you drink a bunch of coffee and caffeine and nicotine and steroid, like whatever you need to keep it going artificially, which will require more and more inputs and eventually is unsustainable, you have to take breaks, right? And is good for everyone. And so what I am trying to do here with Do Nothing Farm is not only in the style of farming where I'm doing minimal intervention and minimal inputs and trying to let nature take its course, but it's also like a human experiment and experience. It's about, yeah, giving a place for people to be able to reset, and they'll come out here and do nothing. And I mean, we have activities too in between, and you kind of realize that you're not bored. I mean, even when you're doing nothing, when you're out here, when you're in nature, or when you just don't have your phone and you have nothing to seek, to fill this void that we feel like we have to fill all the time. When you're missing that, then all of a sudden life becomes pretty good, and you're like, wow, actually I feel good right now, not doing anything. And it's weird because usually you only feel good when you're doing something, right? So when you actually notice how good it feels to do nothing, and that might actually be the best for your creativity and for your productivity, this is a space for people to do that in these retreats that I'm running. And I've had good results so far with people enjoying the experience quite a bit and wanting to come back, and also implementing certain things that they've learned on the retreat, and having a kind of better relationship with their devices too. So this is what I want to give to people. I do coaching as well, and it's a similar element. It's like being yourself, letting your own nature be the leading fuel, that leading voice, rather than these voices that might come from childhood, or it might come from yourself, just, pushing yourself harder and harder and harder. You don't have to just listen to that. So that's the origins behind Do Nothing. It's not do nothing at all. It's don't do the meaningless, like, work that is working against you, right? Do less, and you'll end up doing it more sustainably, right? It's do work that you care about. It's work hard. I mean, I work hard. I admire people that work hard. I want to be with people who work hard, but I don't want to be with people who don't know how to chill and do nothing, because it's exhausting for everyone. So anyway, I hope that, yeah, this is interesting to you in some way. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it. I think we could all benefit from doing a little bit more nothing. So hope you go out there and, last thing I'll share is we are human beings, not human doings, right? That was something from the coaching course when I was getting certified. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time and your support, as always. So I will see you next time. All right, go do nothing.